In the small, suburban town of Maplewood, life's rhythm pulsed predictably with the cycles of school, work, and community events. However, beneath its facade of normalcy, the town harbored many untold stories, and one of them centered around Emily, a high school sophomore. Emily was a bright and perceptive girl, yet she felt misunderstood by her peers and family. Her father, a steadfast and caring man, often found himself bewildered by Emily's increasing withdrawal from family activities. Despite his attempts to communicate and connect, Emily felt a growing void between them. This emotional isolation began to weigh heavily on her. During a particularly stressful semester, Emily found comfort in an unexpected source, a charismatic new teacher named Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels was young, articulate, and had a magnetic charm. He seemed to understand Emily better than anyone else had. His praises and attention made her feel valued, special, and understood. But Mr. Daniels had a peculiar way of fostering relationships with his students. Over time, he subtly encouraged Emily to think of their bond as unique and emphasized that others, particularly her parents, might not understand her as he did. At first, Emily felt liberated by this connection. Mr. Daniels would listen to her frustrations and always seemed to offer solutions that validated her feelings. Yet, as weeks turned into months, an unsettling dependency began to form. Emily found herself questioning the intentions of her family, convinced by Mr. Daniels that they underestimated her capacities. Her father, once a figure of stability, was now perceived as a tyrant who failed to see Emily's worth. Mr. Daniels' influence grew, manipulating Emily's perception and deepening her emotional isolation. He painted himself as the savior who could offer Emily the understanding she craved, alienating her from her support network. Emily's father noticed the change in her demeanor but struggled to identify its source. Frustrated and hurt by the sudden shift in their relationship, he tried once more to reach out. However, Emily was steadfast in her belief that Mr. Daniels was the only person who truly comprehended her struggles. It wasn't until a counseling session, encouraged by a concerned friend, that Emily began to unravel the truth. The counselor, adept at reading between the lines, gently guided Emily to reflect on her relationship with Mr. Daniels. Over time, Emily recognized the signs of manipulation, how he had gradually isolated her, making her suspicious of those who genuinely cared. She learned that what she thought was understanding was a ploy to exploit her vulnerabilities. Mr. Daniels wasn't a savior. He was a narcissist wrapping her in a web of emotional control. With support from her counselor and reconciliatory conversations with her father, Emily slowly started rebuilding her relationships. It was a difficult journey filled with moments of doubt, but she was determined to break free from the emotional isolation. Maplewood, once a place where Emily thought she had to find refuge with someone who only pretended to understand her, was now a landscape of renewed connections. Emily learned that true understanding came from those willing to listen without exploitation and love without conditions. She realized her father and her family were always there, waiting for her to recognize that sometimes those closest weren't villains, but the very saviors she needed.